Leafs hit the reset button 2 weeks ago, are 3-0-1 since, and after a pair of losses, Lindy Ruff says the Stars need a reboot starting tonight in Toronto, where all eyes will be on Tyler Seguin, including Ray Ferraro, who's between the benches.
When a player breaks out and becomes a star player in the league, you want to watch him play as much as you can. You want to see what makes him tick. When I watch Tyler Seguin play now, I see a guy that has so much confidence that he knows he can be a difference maker in the game. Now in the middle of the ice, which is his natural position, when Jim Nill made the deal last year, the thought was to put Seguin and Jamie Benn together. Seguin comes into Toronto with 6 goals in his last 6 games, and looks like they'll go head-to-head against Tyler Bozak.
Yes, it's Tyler versus Tyler. The two Tylers both with 7 points in the last 4 games. Cody Franson paired with Dion Phaneuf on defense. As Phaneuf gets to the red line, he'll flip it in. And chasing after it is Bozak. Kessel with him, and Kessel takes it away and sends it to the front of the net. You didn't think Phil Kessel looked particularly comfortable in the warm-up. Here is Bozak holding, shooting, scoring! Tyler Bozak still hot and now has a team-leading 12th.
What a brutal way for Dallas to start the game. The puck is chipped into the zone, and there's really no forecheck on it. Ben has the puck. What a soft turnover. He's got to be way better than that. The Dallas captain leaves it in the middle of the ice. Then he skates past it a second time. Lehtinen doesn't get a good look at this, and Bozak goes from left to right across the zone. He shoots it underneath the arm of Lehtinen. When you're hot, and the Leafs get on the board in the first 30 seconds.
So much for that reboot. Here's a turnover at center. It's a 2-on-1. Daniel Winnick, David Clarkson in a sprawling defensive play. Jordy Ben got a stick on that with Clarkson loose. Holzer with a shot, and the Stars on their heels against this Leaf attack in the opening 45 seconds.
When you're nervous to make a mistake, you start making them with regularity, and after Bozak's goal, Demers leaves the puck on the sidewall. That's an easy play. He's just got to chip it up the board. But he doesn't get any air underneath it. The puck is stolen, and all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1 going the other way. A real simple play that a team that struggles doesn't make. They better get their feet under them here before Toronto gets out real quick on them.
27 seconds, the time of the goal. Bozak with 12 in the first 24, 19 his career best. A shot off the right side by Eaves, who's on the right wing along with Jason Spezza and Eric Cole for the Dallas Stars. Kadri sends it in. Now Lupul in on the forecheck. Kadri continues after it with Mike Santorelli. Kadri along the boards. Can't get it deep, but Cole intercepts. Straight wide for Spezza. Point-a-game player against Toronto in this his 57th game against the Maple Leafs. Jordy Ben back in his own zone. Bumped by Panik, who draws into the lineup in the absence of Leo Komarov. There's Booth battling for it. The 4th line for Toronto is on the ice, centered by Trevor Smith, who had an overtime goal here against the Dallas Stars last December. Last time he scored for the Leafs. Dion Phaneuf, the lone assist on the goal by Bozak in this opening minute. Sent ahead, and now Vernon Fiddler leads the attack onto the right side. Travis Foley, a former Montreal Canadian, tried to get it back for Fiddler, and Phaneuf comes up with the puck.
Good play by Phaneuf as he doesn't force it up the wall. Both teams want to get a change. He just reverses it back, and Toronto can get their new set of forwards on the ice.
Seguin checks back in, and here's Van Riemsdyk cruising down the left wing. Lost the puck inside the line. Quick transition. Hemsky with Seguin. And that was halted by Phaneuf. Alex Hemsky, who has struggled since getting to Dallas. 1 assist in his first 15 and only 1 goal so far. Playing on the line with Seguin and Ben here tonight.
Just the second time that he's been on this line. They've expected much more from him. He's had a tough time adapting and adjusting to playing here in Dallas. The thought was he'd start with either Seguin or Spezza, but as you mentioned, Chris, just 1 goal so far.
Want him to shoot more, and isn't that a familiar refrain? Puck frozen by Bernier. Tonight's keys to the game brought to you by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of the NHL.
Dallas is on this reboot, as you mentioned, with Lindy Ruff showing video back from training camp. Limit high-risk plays. Man, they got to make one play. Never mind a high-risk play. Bad start for them in the Leafs. They want to make Dallas's young defense defend the cycle. You saw when the puck was turned over by Ben early on that first shift, they never got back to any structure in their zone that allowed too much room for Bozak to walk across the middle of the ice.
Face-off win by Holland, but a glove pass will halt play and bring the face-off outside the line.
When Dallas looks for energy, Lindy Ruff a couple of games ago reunited Garbutt, Roussel, and Cody Eakin. I think Cody Eakin is pretty close to the typical third-line center you would like to have in your lineup. He's tough, gritty, really skates well. Had 16 goals last year, and this line, they call them their pit bulls, and they want them to create some energy for them.
And they do right here as Garbutt takes a swat at the puck, frozen again by Bernier. Garbutt just back from a 2-game suspension, and this line will stir things up. And Ray, we covered the Stars in the first round of the playoffs against the Ducks last year, and this line really plays Lindy Ruff north-south playoff style hockey.
They do when they skate. They want the puck and they go push it up the boards. They get onto it because all three of them can skate. And you look even early in the year, Garbutt's got 3 goals. Eakin's got 5 goals on the season. Roussel's got 5 goals as well. And so you've got enough offense, enough speed, certainly all kinds of grit. And they can really create some uncomfortable moments for the opposition's defense.
Another defensive zone face-off win by the Leafs, this time by Kadri, but they don't get it out. And now Spezza to the attack. A sharp angle shot, rebound, chopped at by Cole. Couldn't make contact, and Kadri sends it out to center. Lupul chips it in, and Goligoski goes after it for Dallas. Helped out there by Trevor Daley, and an outlet. Goligoski off the boards, just out of the reach of Spezza. Corbinian Holzer back in his own zone, playing in his 3rd game. That pass slides the length of the ice. It's an icing call against Toronto.
A couple assists on Saturday night for Jake Gardiner. But if there's one place where he can be a little quicker with the puck, it's in the defensive zone. He's got time here. He just stands there for a moment instead of moving it quickly. And when he finally does move it, he hits Patty Eaves with the puck. Spezza with a sharp angle shot that becomes more dangerous. If Gardiner takes the puck and moves his feet, everybody fans out around the zone.
There's a face-off won by Ben and a hot shot by Seguin. Ben tries to get it through. That one blocked by Holzer. Pressure from the top line of Dallas now. Seguin holds, tried to feed the point. It's intercepted by Lupul. Starting back with a pass onto the right side for Santorelli. Jordy Ben sticks with him and knocks Santorelli down. Ben just back in the lineup. Jordy, after being a healthy scratch for 4 games, up to his brother Jamie, in for Seguin on the backhand, stopped by Bernier. Ben and Seguin with great chemistry, and Hemsky steers a shot right on goal. So the top line starting to produce chances for the Stars. There's Trevor Daley moving up, the former Vaughan Viper, Toronto area product. After it is Garbutt, the centering pass is deflected, and now Van Riemsdyk and Kessel trying to go wide, cuts inside, tangled up, and Bozak had it knocked away from him, and the Stars will flip it out to center. What was your take on what you saw from Kessel in the warm-up?
I thought he looked pretty stiff. He was having a tough time getting going. He doesn't really skate much in warm-up anyway, but he really looked to me like he was laboring a little bit. He left practice yesterday, didn't spend a lot of time on the ice, and he's kind of, I mean, that's a lot of how he skates around in warm-up, but he didn't really shoot the puck very much. He didn't shoot it with much energy yet. In his first shift of the game, Chris, he gets the puck outside here, and he starts to get moving on the outside. You see the other team's defense back up in a hurry because they're worried about his speed.
4th lines are out. Veteran 4th line for Dallas. Here comes David Booth. 5 hits on Saturday night. Cuts to the net. Loose in front, and a big stop by London on that loose puck after David Booth drives the Dallas Stars goal.
We talked a little bit earlier about how chemistry develops. Well, here's Jordy Ben going to find a long lead pass to his brother. But watch where Seguin goes through the middle of the ice. And Ben knows he's coming the whole way. He just lays it around the back of Cody Franson and Van Riemsdyk, who can really skate. He just can't catch Tyler Seguin through the middle of the ice, and they get a dangerous chance out of that. It's a really nice pass by Ben, who's just got 3 goals, Chris, in his last 17 games. They've come in 2 games, so he's not scored in 15 of his last 17.
Seen a lot of Seguin's goals this year on the stretch pass. Klingberg had a beauty last week. Here's Lupul moving in. Pass doesn't work, but he went after it with Santorelli. They get it back to the point. The shot, and Lehtinen out beyond the blue to make that stop off Korbinian. Holzer.
Good work again on the cycle as Toronto gets deep into the zone and they move it low to high, and Holzer, who's in his 3rd game, gets this puck on the net. Santorelli gets the puck first. It goes back to Holzer, and there's Kadri going through the middle of the ice. The Dallas defense is going to come with him, and so what wasn't a lot of traffic when the shot originated, when Demers and Kadri get to the front of the net, now Lehtinen has to fight off the Holzer point shot.
Clarkson taking the drop, but Cody Eakin prevails for the Stars. There's Garbutt on the right side, unable to knock it down, but the puck deflects out to center. Stefan Robidas, the former Dallas Stars, spent some time this morning visiting with old teammates.
Very popular teammate in Dallas.
Up off the Leaf bench and back into play.
Chris, when you were doing the playoff series last year and Robidas was out of the lineup, you talked to people around the Dallas Stars, and people in Toronto are learning about Robidas, about how popular he is with his teammates, because there's a real business-like approach to everything that he does. He's been better of late for the Leafs. I think predictably he had a really slow start, just hasn't played much hockey in the last year.
Holland through center, lost the puck, trying to get it back, and the Leafs do, with Robidas still looking for his first Leaf goal, bouncing it down on Lehtinen, and he will hold on. The Leafs got off to a quick start tonight thanks to Tyler Bozak, who has been on fire of late. He has his 12th of the year at the 27-second mark. Leafs leading 1-0. 6 goals in the last 10 periods for Tyler Bozak, en route to what looks like will be his best year in the NHL.
There's always so much discussion around Bozak, whether he's a true number 1 centerman, and the answer is no, he's not. But the Leafs pay their top 2 centermen, Kadri and Bozak, a combined just under $7 million, which is what a lot of players make. Jason Spezza is a number 1 center in some cases, not here in Dallas. He makes $7 million. They are getting production out of the middle of the ice, and as soon as Kadri can maybe find his way to get on track, they'll be in good stead. Bozak's had a great year.
The chance off the rush as Ben and Seguin are on the ice. He's the number 1 fit on a line with Kessel and Van Riemsdyk. No argument about that. Here's Kessel back in. Looks Rick wide. He spots Bozak. Holds on in behind the net. Looking to center. Feeds back. Franson loads and whips it wide. Stars player down, and Lehtinen without a stick now as Phaneuf will test it off a skate and glances off target. Ben will flip it out, and Lehtinen out of his crease to retrieve the loose stick. Pass on the left side for Kessel. Got by him, and it's an icing call.
We saw an earlier example of Seguin and Ben's chemistry. Look at Kessel's head up. He's looking across the ice, and now he finds Bozak through the seam, all the way back around. And now when Van Riemsdyk gets to the front of the net, Ben is too deep, and that opens up the point shot from Franson. But that all starts with Kessel pulling up on the sidewall and knowing that Van Riemsdyk's going to drive the middle, and he's going to have an out on the far side, and that was Tyler Bozak.
Vernon Fiddler won the face-off. A shot over top of the net. Jason Demers, a newcomer to the Dallas Stars lineup. A trade with San Jose that sent Brendan Dillon to the West Coast. Back in, the Stars invade the zone, and a redirection there by Moen on a nice play by Fiddler, who now has words with Dion Phaneuf. They continue to talk as Fiddler cleared the zone just in time for Moen to send it back in. A lengthy discussion there, and now Phaneuf hounded in behind the net by Fiddler, and they meet up again. The glove swat by Fiddler, but back the other way comes Booth. Trevor Smith and Gardner off the post, and up onto the netting is Jake Gardner. Hits middle, on a nice Leaf rush.
And off that, Vern Fiddler's going to go to the box for an undisciplined roughing penalty. The Dallas Stars take a poor penalty. We saw Phaneuf and Fiddler engaged in a little chit-chat. Now when they go behind the net, the play's going on, there's nothing going on, and he punches Phaneuf in the mouth, and it's a poor penalty for Fiddler to take. Now there's no way Lehtinen can see this, because where I'm standing, I can't see Lehtinen. The traffic's in front of the net. Panik gets to the front, and the shot hits the crossbar over top of Lehtinen.
So they were 3 for 4. Ray, you outlined the power play the other night, and right away there's a scoring chance off the power play. With Kadri on the point, Bozak up front, but also at the point with Van Riemsdyk and Kessel joining Bozak. As Dallas sends it down the ice with those 3 power play goals, the Leafs now back into the top 10 on the power play, working against the number 22 penalty kill of Dallas. Kadri, Van Riemsdyk. Kadri still looking for his first point with the man advantage this year. In behind the net, and it's Kessel. Up top, Phaneuf. Kadri calling for it, but it goes back to Kessel. Watched by Jamie Benn. Rink wide, and a pass knocked down in front, and now a 2-on-1. Benn down the ice, along with his brothers. Jordie Benn redirects it wide. Benn and Benn miss on the 2-on-1, and now the Leafs will counter. Here's Kessel, hits Kadri, shot, he sailed it high. Kadri gets his own rebound, leaned on there by Horcoff, stays with the puck, Bozak lets it go. It'll be Kessel along the boards. At the point, Gardner across, Kadri in a good spot, send it on net. And the puck cleared just off the stick of Gardner, who scampers back ahead of Horcoff. Under a half minute remaining in the Fiddler penalty. High shot first period, 10-8, and we haven't hit the 10-minute mark yet. Gardner trying to spin off the check of Garbett. Plays it to the net, and Lehtinen will hold on.
Now the Bens may have done this in the backyard on the backyard rink, but they get a 2-on-1 for 100 feet. Kadri twice has looked for the pass instead of shooting the puck. He falls down, and now Jamie and Jordie Benn on the 2-on-1, and Jordie gets too much stick on it and ends up cueing it way past the net on the left side of Jonathan Bernier. But twice Kadri got the puck below the dot on the inside on that right side. He can shoot that puck and create some room. Twice he tried to feather it right through to the front of the net where Van Riemsdyk and Bozak are. Neither time it got through one. Ended up it's that 2-on-1.
Steve Kazari, Kevin Pollock are tonight's referees. David Brisebois and Scott Cherry on the lines. At 2-on-1, you probably want Jordie passing to Jamie and not the other way around.
I think if you had your way, yes, that would be the way. You've got the wrong Ben shooting the puck. Just a thought on Kadri on the point there, Chris. It's quite an adjustment getting the puck where he's getting it as opposed to where he's used to getting it, and looking at different things on the ice. And I think the more aggressive he is with the puck, you'll find that it looks a little bit more similar to playing the half wall and not think about it playing on the point once you get into the zone.
Did see him in deep a couple of times in a better shooting position. Jake Gardner flipped it in, gave chase, and now he'll have to get back as Hemsky. With the pass, Seguin drove down the middle, and the pass doesn't arrive. Ben spun around in front by Gardner, who got back in time, and now 3 Leafs through center. David Clarkson down the right wing, cuts it in. Holland shot, and he missed. Stick side. Back the other way. It'll be Hemsky. In the zone, checked by Phaneuf. He took a bump from Jamie Benn, and Winnick lost it at center. Fairly wide open. Now Jason Demers. Aaron Cole. And Cole takes the return pass. Can't get the shot through it. Kadri sprawled, and look at the speed here. Lupul getting wide. Ben slows him up. Centered it. Morgan Rielly stepped up, and a high stick Holtz play as Santorelli moved in. It's pretty fast-paced opening period. The Leafs scored early and lead 1-0.
This first chance, look where Seguin is. He goes right by James Van Riemsdyk up the middle of the ice. Toronto's going to have to squeeze those defense a little tighter because this happened just a shift to go through the middle. It's Holland and Riley, and they can't catch Seguin either. If Ben's pass is through, that's the same play, exact same play twice. Seguin's going to get through again. As much as they have to be concerned about that wide drive, when Seguin's on the ice, they better be concerned about him going right up the middle of the ice, because twice now they haven't been able to catch him.
Good start for Nazem Kadri in the face-off circle tonight. He's beaten Spezza on 3 consecutive draws. Stars send it into Toronto ice. Spezza fires it across, and that goes 6 inches wide of the net. Knock off the end boards, and Patrick Eaves is after it. Lupul's got it. Had it knocked away from him. Stars hold the zone. Here's Spezza trying to cycle it back through Eaves. Tied up by Riley. Cole comes in to assist. Eric Cole lost the puck to Santorelli, who battles. Spezza centers. It'll be dropped back to the point. Jason Demers. Across it goes, and a shot right on as Klingberg took the shot. Klingberg had 8 points in his first 8 games after the call up from Texas, and everybody excited about his progress on the blue line.
Here's the tail end of the Dallas morning skate today. Some of the last guys on the ice are Spezza, Seguin, and Ben, and so they have this scoring contest on Anders Lindback. They're working on in tight plays, and then they decide to shoot it for the crossbar. This is probably to see who's got to go collect lunch at the pregame meal, and the 3 of them leave the ice. That's some pretty dynamic top-end talent. They played them all together for a couple of games, and what became apparent is they were way more interested in playing with the puck than without it. They didn't really check very well together, so now they're on 2 separate lines again.
Surprised Cody Eakin, who has the puck now, has spent some time on the top line with Seguin and Ben. At the point, that shot was gloved and held by Bernier.
A couple of good stops for Bernier in this first period. He made the pad stop on the deflection of Vern Fiddler and one on Seguin as well in his 6th straight start. And Randy Carlyle was explaining this morning that with the days off between games and with pretty manageable shot totals prior to the Saturday game against Washington, they feel that this is a good time for him to get on a little bit of a run. And I don't know that he's played as well as he can yet this year, but playing more is going to help him.
6th consecutive start, 4th in a row at home. Another shot, doesn't get through the traffic. And now Panik with Booth. 4th line back out. They've generated a couple of chances. A couple of good dashes by David Booth as he tries to get his timing back after a broken foot in training camp. Panik along the wall. Richard Panik bumped off the puck, and Horkoff chips it ahead. Dallas to the attack. Travis Moen onto the left side against Phaneuf. Dropping it back for Fiddler, so Fiddler and Phaneuf back out. In behind the goal. Fiddler continues to work for it. He'll draw a penalty now, and the Stars will get their first power play as the Leafs touch the puck. So Fiddler got the gate early. This time he draws a Maple Leaf penalty, and Richard Panik is headed off.
So Dallas's 4th line, you mentioned, Chris, earlier, they're all veterans, Moen, Fiddler, and Horkoff. They draw the penalty on Richard Panik, and it's a good effort behind the net. And you see the hook there as Fiddler jumps on the loose puck. Panik gets his stick through underneath the hands of Fiddler, and so Dallas's power play, which has not been very good this year, comes on the ice with a little bit of a new set. They've got 4 right-handers and Jamie Benn.
0 for the last 10, and that shot shrugged off the shoulder of Bernier and up onto the netting. And even with as hot as Seguin's been, 3 power play goals for him.
See where Bernier's put together since that debacle against Nashville. He was lucky. He got out of there after the first period. James Reimer finished up.
A big shot block by Winnick off Seguin.
As soon as that puck went to Demers, Winnick went straight to Seguin, knowing that the puck was probably coming for the one-timer. Good read and an excellent block for Winnick.
Here's Demers. Drops it off, and now Seguin trying To redirect it onto the right side for Spezza. Couldn't control. Holland turns them back. 6.5 minutes remaining here in the first period. Shots are 12-11 Toronto. And Tyler Bozak the lone goal. Seguin after it, bumping with Phaneuf, wins the puck. And now Ben gives it back. They exchange passes. Demers up top. Spezza's on the near side. It goes to Ben, and now Spezza will fire right on. Kicked away by Bernier up into the 10th row.
Daniel Winnick and Leo Komarov, who's out of the lineup tonight as the effects after that Ovechkin hit, have done wonders to this penalty kill for the Leafs. Look how quickly Winnick gets out there to foil that one-timer, and you wonder where a power play struggles. I could stop that. That's a 45-foot slap shot from the boards with a clean look. Spezza is a power play wizard when he's at his best. You just have to be patient. The shot's not there. Hang on to it. Wait for somebody to get to the front of the net, because Jonathan Bernier is not going to miss that one.
First minute done. Dallas holds the zone. They've got Cole, Eakin up front with Hemsky now. And here's John Klingberg. Chipping it through. Eakin goes after it. Holzer bumps him. And it's called offside.
Of their 4 entries so far in the power play, 3 of them have been scuttled a little bit here for Dallas. They look like a power play that's out of sync. They've got guys going forward towards the Toronto blue line while other players are circling back to gain speed. There, Klingberg didn't have anywhere really to go with the puck, and man, when a power play goes south, it goes badly in a hurry, and you just don't seem to have any confidence to move up the ice with any speed, and as a result, you don't win any puck battles, and you end up doing a conditioning drill.
Leafs penalty killing 11. As Winnick turns them back, they regroup at center. Klingberg is in. Attacked by Robidas. Puck is loose, and Holzer with a nice outlet to Robidas and 200 feet. So last call for Dallas on this power play is Klingberg with a stretch pass out of the reach of Spezza, and an icing call against the Dallas power play. Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN is brought to you by the bold new 2015 Toyota Camry. One bold choice leads to another. Nazem Kadri to take the face-off in the offensive zone against Spezza. This time Spezza wins it straight to Hemsky. Hemsky can't cross the line. Spezza sends it over to the near side, and here's Seguin. Tyler Seguin whips the shot, rebound, and that's stopped by Bernier as well as Demers moved in low. Another shot off Demers in front. Cody Franson watched by Spezza. Penalty done. Leafs come up with the puck, and here is Santorelli working his way in. There's a pass, score! Nazem Kadri off the bar and in!
Excellent work by Santorelli to keep the puck alive, and Kadri rifles this up over Lettinen, but this all starts again here in the middle of the ice. Dallas has the puck. Jordy Ben turns it over. So on the first goal, Jamie Benn turned it over. On the second one, Jordy Ben turns it over, and it's in the net. Dallas has totally revamped their defense on the fly here. They've traded Gonchar and traded Dillon. They lost Kevin Connauton on waivers, and now they're extremely young. They give up 32 shots a game. They've already given up 13 here in this period, and Kadri rifles a bullet over top of Kari Lettinen, and Dallas is in a 2-0 hole again.
First goal in 5 games for Kadri. It's his 6th of the year. In the last 2 games, Dallas has given up 47 shots on goal. And the Leafs have a 2-goal lead. Long stretch pass for Roussel. Trying to chase it down in the Leaf zone against Morgan Riley. Roussel continues to battle in behind the net. In support, Eakin digs it out, looks for Garbutt, and shot it wide. Gardner again, under duress, hands it to Riley. Up ahead, neatly moved from Clarkson to Holland. And here's Peter Holland. He's got Clarkson loose in the middle. David Clarkson stopped. Big save there by Lettinen as Clarkson was allowed to walk right in. They may have to hit the reboot button again, Ray.
Well, they're giving up some chances here right in the middle of the ice. There's been chances all over the place, but Toronto's finished them.
Here's Kessel looking for Van Riemsdyk. Played back to the point by Holzer to Robidas. Robidas took a look, had Bozak moving in off the right side. Here's Kessel after it, back into the corner. Bozak in pursuit of the puck. Jordy Ben rounded by Van Riemsdyk. Loose for Kessel to swat at. Puck is in the slot. Van Riemsdyk knocked down, and Dallas finally gets it out. A team that committed multiple turnovers in their last loss against Colorado.
Lindy Ruff called it a pathetic display of turnovers. He said, I've loved my team and I've hated my team. Can't imagine he's loving much about this.
Now Spezza with under 3 minutes to go in the first period. Swooping in, swinging wide, played it in front. And a Star knocked down in behind Bernier, and that will be a penalty. Patrick Eaves conferring with the official. 2:40 left here in the opening period. First Bozak and now Kadri, and it's 2-0.
Off in the penalty box as he gets called for the infraction right in front of Jonathan Bernier. Patrick Eaves drives the net. You see his stick get caught up in Eaves' legs, and down he goes, so Dallas has a chance to get back in the game. Garbutt was sour that he got tied up with Clarkson, and when Clarkson pulled him backwards, Clarkson got away from him and had a chance right down the middle of the ice, turned aside by Kari Lettinen.
Stars had 3 shots on the opening power play of the game. They get the puck here, and back to the point for Seguin. Takes a return pass. That'll be Demers, a shot wide of the net. Eaves on the far side, and Bozak able to play it out and head to the bench on a change. Here's Demers, lost it, and it'll be a break here. Winnick had Holland breaking, but turns it back, killing a little more time as Robidas sends it into the Star zone. Here comes Seguin. Left side, Eaves plays it deeper. Winnick will reach for it to head of Tyler Seguin. Robidas back into the corner. Seguin gets it back to the point. Big Jamie Benn will fire, and that was blocked en route. Holland in the shooting lane. And now Holland with a steal. He's got Winnick with him. Peter Holland over the line. Walking in, can't get a shot off. Winnick sends it back into Toronto ice. Winnick with Anaheim last year, the first round opponent of the Dallas Stars in a good 6-game series. Klingberg back in his own zone. They'll regroup with 42 seconds remaining in the penalty. Shots are even at 14 apiece, but the Leafs lead by 2. Eakin for Hemsky. Lost it, overskated it, and it gets cleared back down by Van Riemsdyk. Again, the Leafs without their top penalty killer, Leo Komarov tonight. Flipped in, great pass, Hemsky! And Bernier able to get a stick on that and not allow Hemsky a finish. Alex Hemsky along the boards, final minute, cross ice, and it just ticked off the stick of Holzer, preventing a chance on that link side. And now it's Kadri to work. Nazem Kadri in again! And Lettinen got a piece of it. Penalty upcoming. A slash on the play, and Toronto will have another power play.
Turnover, 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 turnover. Lindy Ruff just shakes his head here as he watches Nazem Kadri take the puck and bat it out of the air. It's hit the boards here, and Goligoski flubs the chip. Kadri bunts it out of the air, and now he gets in front of Alex Hemsky. Hemsky gets called for the slash. Right there as he denies Kadri to the backhand. And inside 35 seconds left here in the first period, and Randy Carlyle has got Franson and Phaneuf on the blue line. I think this is a good call. There's no need to take a chance here last minute of a period you lead by 2.
Branson.
And you still have what was 3 days ago your number 1 defense pair out on the power play.
Here's Fiddler deep. Of course, Kadri had been on the ice, but I think you're right, Ray. That's likely the move that would have been made in any effect. See what they do in the final seconds here of the period. Van Riemsdyk sends it toward the net. Phaneuf is in deep with time winding down. Puck across the front of the net, and that's going to do it. Shots on goal actually 15-14 in favor of Dallas, but Bozak with that early goal. Kadri has one as well. It's 2-0 after 1 as we join James Duthie and the panel. 20 minutes of play. They've now scored 20 goals in the last 5 games from 11 different people. Last game for Dallas, they had 13 giveaways and there were 18 takeaways by Colorado. Lindy Ruff-Ray wanted to clean that up, but there were 3 giveaways and 8 leaf takeaways in that first period.
We're supposed to be a reboot, supposed to be a sharper Dallas Star team. This is the first shift of the game. Goligoski to Benn. A really soft play on the boards. The puck never comes out of the zone because Hemsky doesn't get it out a second time. 30 seconds in, it's 1-0. This is the next shift. Demers hands it right to Winnick in the middle of the ice. They get a 2-on-1 that's deflected away. Battle below the goal line. Spezza loses it to Franson. The puck comes outside the zone, and Jordy Benn turns it over. Strong play by Santorelli on the boards to keep the play alive, and then Kadri rifles it over top of Lettinen. A period that saw Dallas have 15 shots, but give up 2 goals, and that reboot video back to training camp goes all for naught. Now they got to climb out of a hole again.
And the Leafs will start the second period on the power play. Dion Phaneuf will direct traffic. Bozak along with Kessel and Van Riemsdyk. The other point man is Kadri as Kessel skates into the zone and stops up. Surveys. Kadri's moved down low. The back door and now shuffles a little higher. It'll be Bozak to the point. Here's Phaneuf. Into the middle, tracked by Roussel. Kessel takes the shot and it's steered away by Lettinen. Phil Kessel without a goal in the last 5 games. Hasn't gone 6 without a goal since late in the 2012-13 season. Kadri's first pass denied. Gets it back. Phaneuf at the point, watched by Fiddler. There's Kessel, scores! Through with Van Riemsdyk, parked on the doorstep, and it looks like he just bumped the slope.
Kessel's goal goes through the Van Riemsdyk screen. Lettinen doesn't see it. But this all starts way back in the other zone. Roussel falls in the corner. This is an easy walk into the zone for Kessel in the Leafs power play. Dallas never regains possession of the puck. Kessel's going to hold the puck, and look how hard it is to get a hold of him. He comes outside the blue line all the way back down into the half wall. His first shot's denied. The second one slides along the ice. And it's 3-0. Toronto, and it's another power play goal for them.
And it's another first minute goal, Ray. Leafs 1 for 2 on the power play tonight. Here comes Seguin, dashing in with a pass for Hemsky and a shot, and the rebound came up and clipped Kadri in the face. Shaken up a little bit. Nazem Kadri gets an assist on the power play goal, so that's his first man advantage point this year. Dashing it again. Pair of points for Kadri in the game. Phaneuf also draws an assist, and he has 2 points in the game. Leafs have 3 points from their blue liners tonight, and now 55 points from the blue line this season.
Well, they gave the goal to Van Riemsdyk. It didn't look like it changed directions to me, but they've given it to Van Riemsdyk, and then the assists will go to Kessel and to Phaneuf.
Well, we'll take another look and see if that's the way it should be called. Cole steers it on the backhand in front. Jordy Benn steps up. He was met by Clarkson. Now Robidaun out left, and Winnick is upended at center ice, and Daniel Winnick is down.
Winnick never touches the puck here, and he's in some discomfort here. Looks like he's got a little bit of a Charlie horse. It hit lower below the waist. Jordy Ben is keeping Winnick away from Demers. Demers hits him low here. In his first game, Demers rocked Jared Stoll in the middle of the ice with a hip check. This is the same attempt that he's making on Winnick, but the puck doesn't come to Winnick. He gets him a little bit from the blind side. Winnick's looking. It's a hip on hip, but players hate this check. It's not especially low, but it's an unsuspecting player, and they will not ever like a hit like this. And Winnick's letting Demers know that he didn't like it. Chris, I can't think of one player that would be on the receiving of that would think that was okay. They would hate that hit, because when it gets close to your hips and your knees, you start to really be concerned. And fortunately, Winnick's okay.
And we'll see how long until there might be a response from the Leafs. But you could see how upset they were. Ray, you mentioned that hit by Demers. It came in his first game as a Dallas Star against LA. Also scored in his first game, but look out.
Very similar. The difference is that Stoll's already headed up ice, and he cranked him with a hip check, and there's his goal against the Los Angeles Kings in his first game as a Dallas Star.
Did you think that was interference
on Stoll or on Demers? Yes,
on Winnick.
Yes, I did. He never touched the puck, and as I said, I can't imagine any player would be happy with that hit. I know I would have thought I was interfered with.
2.5 minutes into this second period, the fourth line checks in. Trevor Smith, who had an overtime goal against Dallas here last year. They ended a winless streak for the Leafs, and then they went to Dallas on here's Panik in front, rolling it wide. Went to Dallas in January on a 6-game win streak, and that was abruptly ended when the Stars won that night 7-1. Up in center ice, the puck played inside the line, and then quickly dispatched back out. Travis Moan tried to delay, but Horkoff trapped offside.
Travis Moan acquired in the middle of November for Sergei Gonchar from the Montreal Canadiens, and Gonchar wasn't going to play a whole lot in Dallas, and so the Stars get a bigger forward to complement their fourth line group. He kills penalties for them. But that defense in being turned over has become extremely young. As well, they have a really good player in Patrick Nemeth, who had a skate cut on his wrist. He's out until March. But this defense, as everybody had high expectations, it seemed, for Dallas, I think perhaps people might have underestimated how young and inexperienced they might be on the blue line.
Here's Bozak back in. Set the tone early tonight with a goal in the first half minute of the game. Swung wide by Ben. The top line for Dallas was -2 in the opening period. Here comes Seguin dashing in, a centering pass, and it's chipped back out by Kessel, and Goligoski will retreat. Funny thing about the Demers trade is they gave up Brendan Dillon, the type of defenseman that everybody thinks they're missing. Here's a chance, and a shot drifted wide by Kadri. Had a chance at his second. Big hit there by Roussel on Kessel, who takes a number and looks to the officials to see if there's a penalty on the play. Dominic Roussel, or Antoine Roussel, with a big hit on Phil Kessel.
Wow, Dominic Roussel?
You know what? That's a once-a-game fine against me.
Oh, don't worry. I've almost called Garbutt by his dad's name about 7 times tonight.
Yep. Dan Gord, a former goaltender. Dominic Roussel, a former goaltender. But a couple of forwards are out there named Roussel and Garbutt, along with Cody Eakin. Gonna stick to the Pens. That's easier. Kadri turns at center, plays it back into the Leaf zone, or into the Dallas zone, as Toronto makes a change as we approach 5 minutes of this second period. Out comes Spezza. Lead feed for Clarkson over the line. Winnick tees and fires into the glove of Kari Lehtinen to try to determine who deserves credit for the goal. And look, it does appear that Van Riemsdyk, or does it?
See, that one to me Doesn't look like it. The first one did. Here's the hit on Phil Kessel as he gets absolutely steamrolled, just thrown along the boards by Roussel. Kessel either has a goal or an assist. Right now it's an assist on that 3-0 goal. 2 of the 3 goals have gone right through Kari Lehtinen, and although he hasn't had a good look at either of them, Dallas doesn't have much margin for error. They just give up so many goals.
It's a lengthy head shake for a 3-0 lead. Scores! 3-1 now! Jason Spezza unloads, and the Stars are on the board.
I always think of Spezza as a passer. This is an absolute rocket. The Leafs get bunched into the middle of the ice, and Spezza has room on the outside to skate into the zone. He's got time to tee this up, and he pounds it for his 5th of the season. Watch the Leafs, all 5 of them on one half of the ice. Poor recognition leaves Spezza with room to walk into it. Look at this, he walks right into it. It's in and out in a hurry, and Alexiak slides along the ice and ends up clipping Bernier. Fortunately, Bernier's okay, but Dallas back to within a couple.
The 250-pound defenseman sliding near the goaltender. Spezza has his 5th goal, and Alexiak, a Toronto native, assists on the first Stars goal of the night, and Jason Spezza now has 57 points in 57 games against Toronto.
Randy Carlyle was talking about the need to keep stressing defense because on January 1st the games get tighter. There you see the misread in the middle of the ice. Holland thinks that Clarkson is outside. Clarkson's back pressuring the puck, so nobody's in that wide lane, and that allows Spezza to walk all the way down the right side of the ice and put it on the tee and hammer it past Bernier.
Didn't like the way the Leafs finished the game the other night against Washington, even though it was 6-2, and he acknowledged that, but thought some bad habits defensively started to creep into that game as well. So it's 3-1. One thing we know about Dallas, they do give up a lot of chances, but they do have the ability to score. And up they come, led by Daly. He'll chip it deep. Jamie Benn after it against Phaneuf. The 2 captains in pursuit of the puck. Now Hemsky helps get it back. Played past Klingberg and down the ice. And here's Kessel in front. Van Riemsdyk chipping and still bouncing in front. And Hemsky comes back. Sean Horcoff chips it down into the Leaf zone and goes after it against Morgan Riley. Horcoff, the former Oiler with Fiddler, sent across the front of the net. That stick breaks. And countering here is Panik. Panik with Leafs invading. Booth goes to the front of the net, and a bad angle shot is handled by Lehtinen. 6:28 into the second period, and Jason Spezza has put Dallas on the board with a rocket.
3-1 goal, puck through the middle of the ice, and Spezza's rocket up over the right shoulder of Jonathan Bernier. Spezza's had quite the success against the Toronto Maple Leafs in his career. His 18th goal and 57th point. Point-a-game numbers for Spezza in his first year in Texas. Signed a 4-year extension earlier in the season.
Part of the 2-headed monster at center that Randy Carlyle was wary of. Here is Eaves driving to the net. Spezza backs him up, fans on it here, and Kadri's away. Nazem Kadri on a break. Shot stopped by Lehtinen as he went to the backhand. Barry Lehtinen with a couple of stops off Kadri, who has one tonight. There's a pass blocked in front of the net. Kadri after it again. Back to the point, penalty pending. And the Holzer shot doesn't get through, played by Spezza. And a high sticking call upcoming against Dallas.
And it's going to be Spezza who turns the puck over to start this whole mess for the Dallas Stars at the blue line. He goes to shoot it and he whiffs on it. Kadri's off to the races and he's got a clean lane. It's his second breakaway of the night. This one Lehtinen stops. The first one Kadri was slashed by Ales Hemsky. But Kadri takes a loose puck, races up the ice with it, and now Spezza's in the box, and for Dallas, this is a crucial kill.
Leafs scored on their last power play, 1 for 2, 6 shots. Goal credited on the tip to Van Riemsdyk. Still open for debate. Phaneuf fires, and that one blocked. Goes after it. And Bozak saves it. That one knocked down by Goligoski, and he'll start back for Dallas. Wait for Eakin, cut off, and a breakaway pass, and Kessel unable to reach it. Nearly spun by Cody Franson.
Man, there were broken sticks all over the place. Phaneuf got one going by the Leaf bench. Daly came to get one at the Dallas bench, and that left Kessel all alone in the middle of the ice.
Franson sends it in behind the Dallas net, and it will be sent down the ice right on goaltender Bernier. He'll stick handle a bit and hand it off, and Phaneuf winds up. Captain to Franson, quick touch pass to Kessel, and back, and now they're in. Cody Franson for Bozak, who sweeps it around to the far side. It reaches Kessel and Van Riemsdyk. Bozak lets it slide to the right point for Franson. Into the middle, Fiddler and Roussel are the penalty killers. Bozak slides through, back door Franson. He holds, centers, shot, blocked, rebound off the crossbar. Kessel thought he had it. Now Phaneuf sizes things up. Takes it a return. Franson's on this near side. Back it goes to Kessel. Van Riemsdyk again provides the screen. Now looking for a pass from Bozak. It's Kessel again. Van Riemsdyk parked in front. Here's Tyler Bozak. Can't get it through, and it glanced off a stick and out to center.
Oh, Dallas could have given up another 3 or 4 goals this period here.
Van Riemsdyk trying to swoop in, and Kessel late clearing the zone. Offside the call.
Just think of the breakaway by Kadri earlier. This chance here by Kessel off the crossbar. He doesn't get a lot of it, but it goes up over top of Lettinen and just kisses the bar and goes off into the corner.
Wasn't sure if he was just off balance or practicing his Bobby Orr celebration there.
Dallas came into the game, Chris, giving up 84 goals, a minus 14 goal differential on the season. They're already up to 87, minus 16 in that goal differential. You just can't be successful with that big a discrepancy.
We are seeing why tonight. Gardner leads them in. Kadri as the penalties expired, and Spezza's back on the ice for Dallas. Spezza long lead feed. Sagan's poaching. Here he is. And a glove stopped by Bernier up onto the netting. Boy, they love that stretch pass to Tyler Seguin, but Bernier has the answer.
Kadri actually makes a nice effort here, recognizing he's beat. He turns around and gets close to Seguin, so he's got to shoot it perhaps quicker than he wants to. This is a great pass from Spezza. You see Kadri's got to cut down to the middle of the ice, and Seguin wants to shoot it just over the elbow of Bernier. And a lot of goaltenders drop quickly into the butterfly. Here you see Bernier in a little bit of a hybrid, one knee down, mostly up on his feet. He's able to deflect that up into the netting.
Leading goal scorer in the NHL with 18 has 4 shots tonight, but has yet to solve Bernier.
It's funny, the shots are just one apart, yet it seems like the quality of chances has been far more difficult in front of Dallas's net than in front of Toronto's.
In the first period, Ray, the Stars generated 30 shots toward the goal against 22 for Toronto. Face-off retreat by the Leafs after Pitt looked like he won the draw. Kadri tying up Goligoski, who doesn't get it out. There's Santorelli, takes a return pass. Franson moves up, shot, picked up, rebound, scores! Joffrey Lupul.
Three of the 4 Leaf goals, Chris, Dallas has had complete control of the puck, turned it over, and it's ended up in the net. This is a great effort by Lupul to beat Goligoski to the front of the net, but he's got the puck here in perfect position. Get it out of the zone. Instead, he tries to make a soft play. It's intercepted by the Leafs, by Lupul to Santorelli. Franson shot's a good one. Lettinen can't quite control the rebound. And then watch Lupul off the sideboards. He's stronger on the puck than Goligoski goals in back-to-back games for Joffrey Lupul. And the Stars give up a pair in the first, a pair in the second. Halfway through the game, they're down by 3. Roussel is trying to fight Winnick. Garbett trying to fight Clarkson. Both lead forwards have to walk away from this. Don't let them generate any momentum. There's nothing to be proved here.
Lupul had his first in 7 against Washington, as you mentioned, Ray, back-to-back now, and the Leafs again lead by 3. Franson has his second assist, and Santorelli also draws an assist on the 4th Toronto goal at 9:31.
So Santorelli with points number 101 and 102. He picked up his 100th on the weekend.
Klingberg ahead, deflected by Eakin. Stopped up by Bernier. Flipped ahead for David Clarkson, and he steers it out to center. Jordy Benn there to bring it right back in and flip it deep. In on the forecheck, Cole. Puck squirts out in front. Jordy Benn steps up. He'll find Spezza. Room to tee it up again. Wires it, and Bernier has that one. And will hold on. Spezza looking for his second. But it's the Leafs who have regained a 3-goal lead on this one for Joffrey Lupul. And Leafs hockey on TSN continues Thursday against the Devils. It all gets underway at 7 Eastern on TSN4, available in the Leaf region. And for complete channel listings, visit tsn.ca/5. Word out tonight that Jaromir Jagr has been shaken up in a Devils game tonight.
The Devils are really having trouble getting some footing. They signed Scott Gomez today.
Bumped into some of the Devils out west, and there was concern about their foot speed, and he doesn't improve that, does he?
No, he does not. And they've since Kovalchuk's been gone a couple of years ago, they've tried to fill in with some veteran guys. Eliash has had a miserable time scoring goals this year. Ryder doesn't go very quickly. Ryan Clough has been injured and he doesn't go quickly, and Gomez certainly doesn't now either.
Very old forwards and very young on defense. Here comes Joffrey Lupul again, putting it in front into the skates of Santorelli. 3 Leafs with 2 assists in the game. Here is Spezza dashing back in. Jason Spezza holds on, and a shot by Demers, and that hit a star in front and has shaken up Patrick Eaves.
That hit him on the side of the foot.
He's still down. Santorelli in front. What a stop! And Letton's got another. Somehow it stays out.
Eaves is in trouble here at the other end of the ice. The way that puck hit him, that's when guys get a broken bone in their foot. He doesn't see it. They're going to take him right to the locker room, and that catches him on the side of the foot. And you can see just no weight on it at all. Watch him, he's tied up with Gardner, he doesn't see it, and it catches him right on the inside of the foot. There's just no padding there whatsoever. And then at the other end of the ice, it's now a 5-on-4. What a save by Letton. Santorelli and Kadri involved again. Oh, Kadri could have had a couple for sure in this period. Letton stopped him on the breakaway, and then that pad stop there.
Nazem Kadri's all around it tonight, though, isn't he?
He is, and you know what, Chris? This has been about 2 weeks where he's been back on his game. I thought the home game against Pittsburgh, he didn't score, but he was around the puck a lot more, and since then he started to play with a little more forcefulness, if you will, around the puck. Not just waiting for the puck to come to him, but going to get it.
May still be waiting for that first power play point as they change the scoring, or at least on the goal. Take one more look. Letton probably already has the save of the year. This one not quite as good as one earlier this year, but you can add it to the highlight reel.
Well, the way Dallas is defending, he might get a lot more chances this year to make saves of the year. The pad save was great. Look at the move here. Strong push, pad stop, and then catching the rebound as Kadri's falling backwards, knocking it towards the Dallas net.
24 Leaf shots. Last 2 road games, Dallas has been outshot in both, 47-24. And there might be 47 tonight.
Dallas gets outscored by a 2-1 margin in the third period, 34-17. So you're right, Chris, there may be a lot more ahead.
Off the glove of Ben, and the Leafs will exit the zone. Flipped in by Van Riemsdyk, who charges after it against Goligoski. Takes him to the end boards. Bozak looks for a loose puck against Trevor Daley. Sends it around, and Hemsky pinned there by Franson. 2 more points for Cody Franson tonight. Van Riemsdyk in behind the net. Goligoski trying to stick with him. Van Riemsdyk got loose, and Kessel unable to get a shot away as Ben came back defensively. Sends it into the Leaf zone and heads off on a chain. 7:07 left here in period number 2. And an icing call against Toronto. Closed captioning is brought to you by Intact Insurance, proud partner of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Randy Carlyle talked about this stretch of home games for the Leafs, second of a 5-game homestand. In the midst of 10 of 12 at home, 13 of 16 at the Air Canada Centre. When they have to make hay, and they have a 3-goal lead here tonight, trying to follow up on what has been a decent home stretch for the Leafs since the back-to-back crisis games. Gardner holds the line off the stick of Clarkson. Jordy Ben around, and there's another one of those breakaway passes. Roussel is in. Roussel and a poke check by Bernier to stop that. Boy, they don't mind having a guy cherry picking up high, do they? A couple of those stretch passes have resulted in breaks, and this time it was Antoine Roussel stopped by Bernier.
The Leafs are making a change here. Holzer's left the ice, and Robidas is coming back to the play now. Bernier reads this as Roussel picks up the puck, and by the time he picks up his head, Bernier's already on his belly with his stick out. He knows that there is pressure coming from the other side, so Roussel can't get all the way across the net, and an aggressive play by Jonathan Bernier results in no shot on goal for Roussel.
Robidas back in his own zone. Horkoff on the forecheck. Horkoff out now with Spezza and Hemsky as they change up the lines. Here's a pass for a shot on, looked like they were trying to feed it to Lupul, went right on Letton. Robidas stepped up. He'll reverse it to Lupul, try to come up from the corner. Unable to do so. Kadri takes a whack at it, but now Dallas is away. Here's Klingberg on the backhand, flipping it through out of the reach of Hemsky. Sends it along the boards, back it comes to Klingberg. In deep it goes to Hemsky. Horkoff parked on the doorstep. Hemsky will hold on. The former Oiler feeds back to Klingberg. Klingberg shot through traffic, and Riley comes up with it. Kadri trying to clear it, unable to do so the first time, and it was sent around again. Dallas trying to apply some pressure. It gets past Goligoski and out. 5 minutes left, second period. Alex Goligoski leads them back in. Cole drives to the net, loose in front, and Bernier there. It'll be Jamie Benn walking out in front, and Bernier gets a piece of that. So Eric Cole has joined Seguin and Benn. That shot whistles wide off the stick of Goligoski. A bit of a surge here by the Stars, trying to get back in it.
Well, they got to get one here before the end of the period to make themselves feel like there's a chance in this game. A little push there, as you mentioned, with Cole and with Seguin and Benn.
Roussel on his backhand, sends it to the side of the net, picked off there, flipped high in the air by Bozak, and Van Riemsdyk charges after. Jordy Ben cuts him off the pass, and it's still on the stick of Van Riemsdyk. He gets it to Bozak. Back is Eakin defensively, off his stick to Garbett, and Garbett chips it out. Put him back in his own zone. Eakin in slipstream takes it away and nearly centered it, but it's going to be a penalty.
That's a high sticking penalty to Cody Eakin as he gets his stick up into the face of Dion Phaneuf.
Flips Phaneuf, a lead power play when we come back. Jonathan Bernier has been sharp when called upon tonight. A couple of breakaway stops for Bernier, a poke check there off Roussel, and it's 4-1 Toronto.
Gift she'll adore, like Arctic Brilliance Canadian Diamonds. Only at People's, Canada's diamond store. Let love shine.
One of Dallas's top penalty killers is Cody Eakin. He'll sit in the penalty box here. The Stars are 21st on the penalty kill, and they're going to have to go at it without Eakin. There's the high stick on Dion Phaneuf.
Bozak against Fiddler on the face-off, and Vernon Fiddler wins it. Bozak 2 and 5 in the second period on the draw. Came into the game number 6 in face-off wins in the NHL. Leafs move it in. Bozak chips it deeper. Kadri shovels it in behind the net, then around it goes to Kessel. Now they get it set. Kadri backdoor. Kessel holds on. Now Phaneuf. Into the middle and to Kadri. In low, Van Riemsdyk across, and that's off a skate. Bozak after it against Fiddler, and the Leafs get control. Kessel up high. There's Kadri. Quick shot, glove down, rebound. Van Riemsdyk had a whack at it, then got knocked in. And yes, it will be another penalty and a 5-on-3 power play for 72 seconds. Unless they're calling Van Riemsdyk, and I can't imagine they would be.
No, that's a Dallas penalty for sure. It's Roussel that's going to go to the penalty box. You know, Chris, sometimes on the power play you have to make a play that's unselfish in that you don't touch the puck, but it keeps the play alive. Watch what Van Riemsdyk does here. He ties up Demers behind the net. If he doesn't tie him up, Demers gets the puck. The Leafs don't control the puck, and if they don't control it, they're not going on this 5-on-3. As you watch, Van Riemsdyk's going to get buried right here. That's a bad penalty for Roussel to play. The puck is gone. There's nothing to do, and not only is it a bad play, he shoves Van Riemsdyk right on top of his goalie. Position's hard enough. How about shoving him away from your goalie?
Lots of time for the Leafs on the 5-on-3. Bozak gets waved. Ben goes forward, trying to kick it loose. Can't get it out, and now has a chance. So good battle by Jamie Benn to come up with it. Leafs have one 5-on-3 goal. Here's Ben, a shot. And can you imagine scoring chance for Jamie Benn? Down 2 men. He goes to the bench, and now Kessel back in for the Leafs. Still 45 seconds of time available. Loose in front of Van Riemsdyk. All tied up. Couldn't redirect it into the vacant net. Wow. Franson. Kessel. Exchanging passes. Kessel up a little higher. Spots Phaneuf. In low. Back up to Phaneuf. And a one-timer. Franson hits iron. And it'll be cleared.
That's perfect puck movement and patience by the Leafs. And Phaneuf's one-timer wasn't a little feathery thing. It was hard enough that nobody could react to it.
Now it'll be Gardner in. Time to give and go. Franson comes up with it. Holds Gardner, one man back as Eakin gets back into the play out of the penalty box. So they don't score 5-on-3. They hit the post. Kessel dangling. Van Riemsdyk in the slot. Bad angle shot off the shoulder of Lettman. Ricocheting to Gardner. Up to Franson. His shot and a pad toe stop actually by Lettman. And the Stars will clear with 90 seconds left here in the second period.
The Leafs lead the National Hockey League in goals in the second period with 35. They've had a half a dozen chances to add to that. Onto their 2 they've already scored tonight.
Lupul's got one of them. He's back out along with Santorelli and Clarkson. And getting set to return, Roussel will hop in and make it an odd man rush. Garbutt puts on the brakes. Looks down low, it gets past Roussel. Horcoff to the point. That shot deflected in front, and Roussel unable to bat it out of midair into the final minute. Clarkson up with it. Little touch pass to Santorelli. And he'll maneuver into the Dallas zone, get squeezed along the boards. by big Alexiak. They'll tie it up in the corner. Alexiak, the former Niagara Ice Dog. And it'll be flipped out by Demers. John Horcoff. Under a half minute remaining. Leafs now 1 for 5 on the power play in the game. Seguin to work. Puts on the brakes, looks across. Here's the shot. That blocked in front of the net by Peter Holland. David Clarkson went wide, and Holland deflecting that up into the Leaf bench, and up over the bench into the seats.
The puck bounces away from Lettinen, and Van Riemsdyk just can't get a handle on it as it goes off his stick and then past his foot. He can't chip it into the open net. Watch how quickly Phaneuf moves this puck. That's a hard one-timer. It's not a soft one like you usually see at the top. That doesn't allow Daly to get out in front of the shot. Franson rings it off the crossbar and post.
So for the second straight period, the Leafs score 1 in the first minute. They get 2 in the period and lead 4-1 after 2 as we rejoin James Duthie. His first in 6 games. Leafs lead 4-1 after 2 periods of play. Ray, wide open. It's the kind of game where you can get caught up in a run and gun, but you think the Leafs have managed to stay pretty focused on their defense as well?
When they've given up chances, it seems for the most part like they've been one and done. There's been some long ones that have gotten away from them, but look at their positioning here in the offensive zone. Cody Franson gets a pinch on the puck on the half wall. There's no control of the puck. The Leafs have two players, a defenseman and a forward, over top of the Dallas forwards. There's nowhere to go with the puck. This is even better. Holzer gets down on the puck. They retain possession in the Dallas zone, and the 2 Leaf players are far in front of the Dallas players. There's no man advantage break to happen for them. Then down in the other end, where offense starts, you play well defensively, you get chances at the other end. That's a 5-foot handoff from Robidas to Kadri. One pass up the boards and they're out of the zone. And so as much as the Leafs are creating chances with 30 shots and 4 goals, Kadri's done it at both ends of the ice. The defense has done a really good job again. And if the Leafs can play without the puck with some semblance of style that stays with their game, they're going to score enough. That's been pretty evident. And I think Randy Carlyle should be pretty happy with what he's seen through 40 minutes.
The other coach, not so much.
Oh man, the chances Dallas has given up have been just grade A chances right through the middle of the ice, right in front of the net.
Kessel flying in, the shot deflecting into the glove of Lettinen. By the way, Nazem Kadri leads everybody with 6 shots on goal and has generated 12 shots at the Dallas net through 40 minutes tonight.
See, one of the things that Kadri's going to have to learn is you can't just respond when the coach boots you in the rear end. And the reason I know that is I always seem to respond well. The problem is the next time you go into a dive, he boots you in the rear end a little harder. And Kadri seems to be someone whose game is faded at times, and he responds to the crack. You take his ice time away, you took him off the power play, and he's been excellent for well over 2 weeks. He's played very well for the Leafs. And if they get that type of play from him, that drives that second line. Now you've got Bozak's line that's been really consistent throughout the year. You've got the checking line when Komarov gets back into the lineup, and all of a sudden you're pretty deep again.
There has been depth of scoring. That goal scoring change does give Kadri an assist on a power play goal, so his first power play point of the season registered in that second period. Puck played around, and Cody Eakin just ducked out of a way of a check, but lost the puck to David Clarkson, who will play his former team on Thursday night. Back to the point and across from Holzer to Gardner. A shot right on. Rebound for Holland. Chipping it for Clarkson.
Another Dallas penalty coming up here.
As Bernier leaves the net, but the whistle sounds.
That's Eakin again, his second high sticking penalty of the game here. He got his stick up on David Clarkson. right here. Yeah, that's a hook. He's got it right underneath his chin. So the Leafs power play with a chance really to put this on a reach here.
6th power play of the night. Lindy Ruff's crew gave up a pair of power play goals in their most recent loss against the Avalanche. Face-off won by Fiddler.
Not surprisingly, Chris, Patrick Eaves never came out for the start of the third period for Dallas after taking that shot in the foot.
Done for the night with the wide-ranging lower body injury. And that puck is cleared 200 feet. So a slow start on this power play for the Maple Leafs, who have had sustained pressure tonight. They do have a goal. Were not successful on a lengthy 5-on-3, but lots of chances and a couple of posts tonight with the man advantage as well. Here's Kessel. Phaneuf returns it and gets it back to Wind and fired right on, and a stop by Kari Lettinen. Animal Planet is free all December. From the biggest and baddest to the cutest and cuddliest, it's the wildest gift you'll get this holiday season. Animal Planet, free preview on now. Check your TV listings.
Well, Kari Lettinen's already given up 4 goals tonight. He's been under siege a lot. He didn't need this. That doesn't feel good.
No. May sound as high pitched as one of the announcers here tonight by the end of it, Ray.
You're not gonna wear down. You had like a whole day off.
There's Fiddler dumped in. That'll do it for the power play as Fiddler is upended. And off goes Santorelli. Face-off will come back in the Leaf zone.
Lettinen still trying to get himself organized in the Dallas net. There's the trip by Santorelli. He reaches out to get to the puck. It's 4-on-4 for 55 seconds. And as easily as Toronto could have put this thing to bed with a power play goal, Dallas has a chance to get on it here. In that 55 seconds after 4-on-4, they'll be back on the power play.
There's a shot by Goligoski. Change direction, rebound, score. Ryan Garbutt has a 4-on-4 goal for Dallas, and it's 4-2 for the Maple Leafs.
And now you see how dangerous the game gets. Now they're going to go on the power play here shortly, and you got a chance to get within 1. Kadri gets cleaned out on the draw here by Garbutt, and then he loses Garbutt as he goes to the front of the net. Gardner can't follow up on that play. When the draw is lost, it's 4-on-4. Garbutt is going to turn and go to the net, and while Kadri should slow him up for a moment, Kadri's responsibility is out near the point. Gardner just wandered up the sidewall, and that left Garbutt all alone in front of Jonathan Bernier.
You mentioned earlier, Ray, they've been outscored coming into this game 34-17 in the third period, but have one here to cut the lead to 2. 4-on-4 continues, and it'll be just under a minute of power play time for the Stars. So a little bit of a dangerous section of the game here for Toronto.
Garbutt, who could be a major annoyance to play against, picks up his 4th of the year.
And 17 last year and over 100 minutes of penalties.
Free agent signing for Dallas in 2011. Just think 2/3 of their third line were free agent signings. 2011 for Garbutt, 2012 for Roussel.
Seguin threw it across to Ben, flagged down by Bernier, who loves it, not wanting a face-off in his own zone, and room for Phaneuf to work his way out to center and flip it in.
Now the Dallas power play all season long has been not very good, Chris, but you know, Lindy Ruff talked about a reset. They've got a reset too. 23rd in the league. They got a chance to get themselves back in a game here.
And no shortage of firepower out there, but it gets past Klingberg and out. And here is Jamie Benn up for Seguin. and Spezza. Big three are out together along with Demers and Klingberg. But Peter Holland with a backhand that gets off Ben and out, and Jamie Benn goes to the bench a little frustrated. Around it comes, and off the bench is Roussel. Will likely be the net front presence. Seguin steals. Tyler Seguin holds on. Up high it goes. Here's Demers. Dishing for Spezza. Scored the first Dallas goal. Got some room. Moving in, and he missed Jordy Benn. And a 2-on-1 the other way. Peter Holland with Daniel Winnick. Holland works in and shot it up off Lettinen and onto the netting on the short-handed 2-on-1 chance.
Let's go back to the Garbutt goal for just a moment. Watch Gardner on the boards. That's not his puck anymore. He's got to get back to the front of the net. If he's not back there, there's going to be no one there. It ends up in the net. That's on Gardner. And then Holland on the 2-on-1. This shot deflected away by Demers as Jordy Benn had jumped in for the cross-crease pass from Spezza and skipped over his stick. And there's the goal scorer, Garbutt, who's made it 4-2.
Doligoski and Klingberg get assists on the goal. Klingberg now with 9 points in 11 games since he got called up. GM Jim Nill very excited about the upside of John Klingberg. Pass up at center ice, slowed up by Robidas. Big hit there along the boards, and Clarkson went down. Leafs with the puck. Here's Trevor Smith dropping Riley a shot, and that was knocked down by Eakin. Garbutt will try and get things organized, and the Stars break out. Chipped in by Roussel in the midst of a change. As we approach 5 minutes of the third period. Now a 2-goal game. Leafs have not squandered a 2-goal lead this season. Gardner with the pinch to hold the zone. Kadri looking for it as Santorelli went down. Demers hands it away. Lupul gobbles that up. Here's Kadri looking to center. Blocked by Fiddler. Kadri's got it again. Sits at the net. Scores! Joffrey Lupul has his second, and it's 5-2.
Chris, right after the goal went in the net to make it 4-2, Lupul and Kadri came back to the bench. Lupul reached over, gave him a little tap, and told him, don't worry about losing the draw. I thought it was a pretty good bit of leadership by Lupul here. He knows Kadri's a little disappointed in losing the draw. Now the two of them stay on the puck here with Santorelli. And yes, this is a lucky break. It goes off of Ben's foot, but they stayed on the puck. Santorelli stayed on it. Lupul stays on it, Kadri stays on it, and finally Kadri goes back across the seam, and Lupul is able to put it in the net.
Lupul with a pair of goals. Nazem Kadri and Santorelli now have 3-point nights for Toronto, and it's a 3-goal lead as Lupul has his 5th. Goal and 2 assists for Kadri, 3 assists for Santorelli. Van Riemsdyk tried to barge through, unable to do so. And up ahead it goes for Eric Cole. Cole, the only Dallas forward who is a plus player. Giveaway, Kesselian, shot stop. Nice stop by Lettinen, and he makes another.
My goodness, this is a shooting gallery. And they've only got 34 shots. I mean, that's a lot, but the quality of the shots, you just shake your head at. This is not competitive playoff hockey that Dallas is playing right now.
Here's Francis up to Winnick in the middle. Holland on the rush. Holland shot off a stick wide behind the net. Winnick trying to center it, unable to do so against Spezza. It'll be flipped around by Klingberg, but not out. Kept in by Riley, trying to sift it through, and he missed the net. Clarkson on the far side, up against Klingberg. And now Spezza lost it. It's loose in front. Another giveaway. Clarkson stopped. Well, Kari Lettinen's earning his money tonight. Now Spezza the other way. Stops up, and Robidas won't let him by. It's going to be a penalty. Robidas doesn't like the call, but he's headed off. But the Leafs have restored their 3-goal lead as Joffrey Lupul has his second of the night. 5-2 Leafs.
Dave Nonis went out and signed a whole group of depth players. Komarov makes a lot of money at $3 million a year. There's $1 million each for Winnick and Santorelli. Winnick is one of their top penalty killers. He's playing 15 minutes a game. Santorelli's got 16 points on the season. His versatility has come in handy. They found out he can kill penalties, he can skate. Now he's on the wing in sort of a matchup line. Really good depth signings by Toronto that have made their bottom six playable, and then you add in Peter Holland, and Randy Carlyle has some options to play 12 forwards, not 7 or 8.
Stars trying to get within 2 again as they are back on the power play. And a delayed call upcoming. The Leafs are going to be down 5-on-3 here. A high sticking penalty coming, and for 90 seconds, the Stars will go 5-on-3 as Holland heads off.
Dallas is going to call a timeout. Jason Spezza just went over and said, what's the setup? And Kurt Fraser, who runs the power play, said, let's call a timeout here. There's the high sticking penalty as Ben takes a clip up high. And again, this Dallas power play, which looks like it should produce. They've got Ben, Spezza, and Seguin up front, but they don't produce. They've just got 12 power play goals, ranked 23rd.
And those 3 you mentioned, Ray, 6 between them. Seguin with only 3 of his 18 have come on the power play. Doesn't make them any less dangerous right now with a 90-second 5-on-3.
And they're going to go with 4 forwards, it looks like, as they're going to park Roussel right in front of Jonathan Bernier. And they've got 2 real shooters in Seguin and Ben. You know they're going to want to get the puck into Spezza's hands as quickly as they can to see if he can orchestrate something. See if Dallas can get themselves within 2 with about 10 minutes left.
Winnick on this face-off, and he wins it away from Ben, who goes back after it. It'll come back to the point, and Klingberg is there, the lone defenseman on this power play. Seguin up top. Roussel, as Ray mentioned, is in the middle, trying to provide a screen as the puck comes out. Now they'll have to reboot out at center. Klingberg fires it in. Bernier tries to stop it up. It'll slide all the way back, and Seguin to Spezza. Klingberg and Seguin exchange spots. Spezza down low, sends it across. Ben can't handle it, and the Leafs will clear off the stick of Winnick.
Ben either wasn't ready for that or he didn't see it. It hit him right in the stick and he bobbled it.
Seguin sends it around. Spezza looking for it. Got by him. Klingberg moves up. Spezza again. Now Seguin. Klingberg working in. Great pass, but Spezza bobbled the shot. Then the Leafs will clear.
Chris, no shots on the first part of this 5-on-3. You got to get the puck to the net. Make those penalty killers move.
Couple dozen seconds remaining, and Cody Francis denies entry. Here's Klingberg just sending it wide of the net. And now less than 10 seconds to go, and another lost puck out at center ice. So nothing to show. Even a shot on Bernier, as back onto the ice comes Romanov out of the box. Puck nearly found him. Ben got it back, and now Holzer will go for a skate.
Great work by the Leafs threesome on the ice. It started with Winnick and Holzer and Phaneuf. Finished up with Franson, Phaneuf, and Winnick.
And Ray, it started right with a face-off win by Winnick. It was his first draw of the game, and he won it cleanly against Ben. Eakin. Now out of the box comes Holland, so the Leafs survive a lengthy 5-on-3. Neither team cashing with that advantage here tonight. And under 10 and a half minutes to go. And Riemsdyk to Holland with speed. And shot it wide. Trevor Smith moving up, and Eric Cole there to reclaim it for the Stars. Trevor Daley. Up ahead it goes. Eakin. His shot blocked. Got his own rebound, trying to center it. Like Bernier might have got hit to the side of the head with a high stick. There's Gardner getting the puck loose for Trevor Smith. And Smith will fire it out at center ice. Santorelli in pursuit of the puck. A three-point night for Santorelli. Taken to the boards by Jordy Ben. After it now is Lupul. And the Stars will flip it out. Travis Moen in pursuit of the puck, but it's an icing call against Dallas.
Korbinian Holzer's done a really good job for Toronto since he's come back from the American League with the injury to Roman Polak. They play a similar style, but there was some question whether Holzer would be able to play as physically as the Leaf coaches want. There you see him fire Garbutt out of the way, and when he played that first game against Pittsburgh, Randy Carlyle was pretty guarded in his praise for him. He said he did a good job. Now the trick is for him to stay on an aggressive way to play. He played more minutes the next game with Jake Gardiner, and he's been very solid, a very quiet, steady game for Holzer here again tonight.
Smith on this face-off, won by Fiddler. And up ahead for Travis Moen. Over the line. Smith knocking it away from Fiddler, played around on the near side. Pinching in is Jason Demers, working against Booth along the boards. Demers still in deep as Moen tries to get it to him. Demers down behind the net, and it's held in by Horcoff. Got Demers on the forecheck here as Dallas tries to press the attack here, down by 3 with 9 minutes to go. Horcoff heads off, and puck arrived in front of the benches. That line was checking out. Here's Gardiner trying to hook up with Holland, and it slides down into the Dallas zone. Shots are 37-29 in favor of Toronto. Little room for Cody Eakin with a burst, but lost the handle. And it's big Alexiak back in his own zone. Trying to get that stretch pass as Garbutt was lurking at the line, and he gets knocked down. Holzer with the hit.
That's twice in a row, and Garbutt better watch here. The referees are well aware of and starting to get frustrated.
Holland curled, the puck deflecting wide of the net.
He should have had a slashing penalty right there. That's his stick that's broken.
And he goes to the bench in disdain, and here's Cole in and stopped by Bernier. Kept looking for that breakaway, and Cole had a bit of a break, and Bernier has the answer. Winnick can't control. Daly fires it off target. Puck came down for Sagan, can't control it. Back out comes Holland. He'll flip it down on Lettinen. Trevor Daly jettisons the puck back in the Leaf zone. Ben took a run at Franson. Out come the Leafs with a pass on the tape, but center for Van Riemsdyk. In it goes. Kessel nearly had it knocked away from him. Crowd getting boisterous with under 7.5 to go. With a 3-goal lead, and Van Riemsdyk's in on the backhand. Trying to duck away from the checking of Daly. Centered in front. Big stop, Lettinen. Boy, he's made some good saves tonight, and the Leafs still have put 5 by him.
If you check the box score and you see the 5 goals against, you're going to think it's not been a very good night for him. And 2 of them went through him. He probably wants at least 1 of those back, but man, he's made some great stops.
Here's Hemsky trying to find some room. Lost the puck. Santorelli will backhand it out. And it's played to the Dallas line, and the clock running now. Not many whistles here. Spezza knocked down at the line. Good hard play by Stefan Rubida. Gets a good response, and Lupul with 2 goals, looking for his 4th career hat trick. Puts it in front. Loose. Kadri reaching for it. Upended in front of the net. Play continues, and Jordy Ben's got it. Ben, who had a terrific season last year, drafted free agent, has struggled a bit this year. Santorelli trying to spring Lupul at the end of the shift, and that's going to be an icing call against Toronto. Well, the 2014 Home Hardware Canada Cup of Curling kicks off tomorrow morning. Live coverage gets underway at 10:30 a.m. Eastern on TSN. 6:06 left. Eakin wins the draw. Alexiak with the blast, and that's off target. Knocked down as Roussel by Riley. And Lupul starts back at the line along with Santorelli. Lupul getting to the bench on a change now. After the icing call, had to stay out. Cody Eakin flips it in and he'll charge after it against Phaneuf. The captain tied up and stays with it. Played by Booth. Pass cut off at center ice. And now ahead it goes to Eakin. Tried to stay on side. Puck flipped in the air and it's out of play. So under 5.5 minutes remaining. The Leafs with a 3-goal lead.
This season, stay out of the penalty box. Find, gift, chill, adore like Arctic Brilliance Canadian Diamonds. Only at People's, Canada's diamond store. Let love shine.
Stars down by a hat trick, a different kind of hat trick for Vernon Fiddler this summer. At George Strait's final concert in Dallas, the end of the concert, Strait threw out the hat, and look who got it.
He said 105,000 people at the concert. The thing sailed around. He said landed right in his hands, and Vern Fiddler has got an awesome collectible.
Plenty of offers for that hat. Nobody going to throw that on the ice tonight. Even if Joffrey Lupul gets one more. Here's a break. Kessel with Bozak and Van Riemsdyk. Phil Kessel with Bozak, and Cole came back. And maybe Kessel a little too unselfish that time. That'll be vacuumed up by Lettinen and steered to his defenseman, and out breaks Dallas. Eric Cole over the line after that defensive play. Looking for Horcoff in behind the net. Horcoff comes up with it. Center shot, scores. Hemsky rifled that one home, and it's 5-3. Couple of old Oilers reunited in Dallas, conspire for a third Star goal.
Well, Hemsky started the game with Ben and Sagan. He was dropped off at halfway through the second period. It's been a pretty quiet night for him, and Horcoff keeps the puck alive with the forecheck. Fiddler gets it back behind the net, and then Horcoff finds Hemsky coming down the middle of the ice. Phaneuf's in front of the net. He's watching the back door. There's probably should be a little communication there between Lupul and Phaneuf. Lupul was closer to the one coming down the boards. That left Phaneuf kind of in no man's land, and Hemsky's second of the year keeps the Stars within kicking distance.
Horcoff and Goligoski assisting on the play. John Horcoff playing in game number 898 of his 14-year career. And here's Hemsky again to the attack. Hemsky over the line, poke checked off his stick, and swatted by Holzer out to center. Under 4 to go. The Leafs up by 2. Spezza, Garbutt. Garbutt drives to the net. Holzer after it. Garbutt has it again. Fires it back to the point. That shot off the inboards. Ricochets back to Garbutt. And a shot, and that's right on. Off the stick of Demers. One last Dallas push here with 3:36 to go, and Ales Hemsky has made it a 2-goal Leaf lead. Lead with 3:36 on the clock. 3-point night for Nazem Kadri, Mike Santorelli. A pair of goals for Joffrey Lupul. Leafs with 5 goals for the 8th time this year, and this is the second time they've hit the 40-shot mark on the season.
Watch Ales Hemsky come off the bench. That's him coming right down the middle of the ice. Kessel doesn't notice that he's coming there. It's tough to pick him up. We're watching the puck. But Hemsky just appears coming right down the middle of the ice, and he bangs in the pass from Horcoff.
And he requested that replay, did he?
He knew something wasn't right. He said, did he come? He knew he came off the bench once it went in the net. Unfortunately, when you're on the ice, you can't quite tell sometimes where the guys come from. And for Hemsky, that was a 3-second shift and in the net.
Garbutt got away with one there as he tackled Gardner back behind the Leaf bench. Didn't get a call. And now out comes Dallas. Over the line is Cole. Eric Cole, the Goaltender's gone to the bench for an extra attacker. Here's the shot, and Goligoski misses the target. Cole in behind the net. Holzer with a shoulder on him, but Cole gets it back to the point. Jason Spezza, nice move. Gets it to Klingberg. And back to Spezza, the 6 attackers on the ice for Dallas, trying to get within one. Deflected wide of the goal. And back to the point again. Goligoski, Spezza up high, and that one changed direction, went off Bernier, and Bernier will hold on. Still 2:29 on the clock. Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now all the top Dallas weapons are on the ice, but a face-off win for Bozak against Spezza. Klingberg trying to hold the zone. Spezza's out there with Ben and Sagan. Bouncing puck, Ben couldn't tame it. And Bozak will play it off the boards and down the ice. And this is going to be an icing call, just enough to bring the face-off back in the Leaf zone.
So with no change available, I don't know that they would make one anyway, but Bozak centers for Winnick and Santorelli as they try to defend the 2-goal lead. Kari Lehtinen finally gets a breather after facing 40 shots in 58 minutes.
Tyler Bozak has won 10 face-offs tonight. Next face-off win will be 300 on the year, but Dallas prevails here, and Sagan shot it wide. At the point, Goligoski across, the one-timer is blocked to Spezza. Let it fly, Ben behind the net. Here's Cole knocked down at the side of the net. Sagan is spilled. Stars stay on the puck. Eric Cole back door, puck is stopped as Sagan comes out in front, still loose, and Bernier down to cover up.
Bernier's really tracked the puck well. That last chance before the icing call, he went off the end boards, he followed it off the boards, stopped that secondary shot, and here there's a scramble, the puck's bouncing around, and Bernier gets to the puck, he's got his leg down there, seals off that chance from Cole, but when it comes back, he works hard to find where the puck is, and makes the stop here off Sagan, and then finds it in that mass of players.
Now it's Cody Eakin against Tyler Bozak, and from the draw, the Leafs control. So Bozak with 300 face-off wins on the year. Puck sent wide of the net, and Daly back to get it. 90 seconds on the clock. It's still a 2-goal Leaf lead. Out comes Demers, gets the red line, sends it in. Bernier will wrap it around the boards. Knocked down there as Garbutt was along the wall. Santorelli's up with it. He'll wrap it, and it deflects out of play, and another face-off in the Toronto zone.
See if Randy Carlyle leaves the same guys on the ice or calls a timeout here, as they've been on for quite some time. Dallas has changed twice here. This is the group they started with. They went to the Eakin group, now back to Spezza, and wisely the Leafs take their timeout here with 1:14 to go.
Wants Bozak to take the draw again in the zone. He has taken 34% of the Toronto faceoffs this year. That's 7th most in the NHL.
Peter Horacek has got the board all drawn up with where Dallas is going to line up and where the Leafs are going to line up. Just want to make sure that everybody is on the same page on a one draw, a lost draw, and if the puck goes to the point, that you don't start chasing the puck. Down at the other side, it's Lindy Ruff trying to get something quick off the face-off here to give yourself one final chance. Ruff just, again, as the huddle was breaking up, said you've got to use the points, knowing that the Leafs likely will try and pack everybody in down below the top of the circles. Klingberg and Goligoski, a left and a right shoot defenseman, are on the ice.
Bozak's won 4 of 6 defensive zone faceoffs. He's up against Jamie Van Heer. Wins another. Franson to Phaneuf. That hit the official, and the Stars get it back. Ben's on it, trying to work his way against Bozak. Phaneuf went in and knocked Ben off the puck, and it's flipped out to center. Final minute. Leafs trying to win their 4th and 5 and points in 5 straight. Centered in front, and it's play is stopped on a high stick as Tyler Seguin was left loose in front.
Ben's going to get the high stick. His stick came up on Phaneuf as the two captains came together behind the Toronto net rather. Ben's stick is going to spin around and clip Phaneuf. And so with just 50 seconds left, it'll be 4-on-4 as Kari Lehtonen goes back to the Dallas net.
This 5-game stretch, the Leafs have outscored their opponents 23-12. Lupul with a pair of goals. Kadri has 3 points. They're out along with Van Riemsdyk. A face-off win back to Kessel. He's checked, and away goes Garbett. And with the break, right, Garbett in, and Bernier with the save. Centered in front. Kessel gets it back. May not want Kessel on the point, protecting a 2-goal lead, even with the power play.
Yeah, that was my mistake, Chris. It is a power play. With 4 forwards on the ice, Kessel burps up the breakaway. Garbett stick-handled himself into the corner, though.
Garbett in front to Daly, can't get the shot through. And swept in front, and that one will get out to center ice.
I mean, you should still be able to defend the 2-goal lead.
Here's Seguin, a shot, and he whipped it high. 5 seconds left. Leafs are going to hold on. It got a little more interesting than necessary, but they post a 5-3 victory here against the Dallas Stars tonight. Final shots in a wide open game, 40-38 in favor of Toronto. Joffrey Lupul with the pair in the victory as the Leafs go to 13-8-3 with points in their last 5. We'll have Toronto and the Devils on Thursday night. So long from the ACC. Here's Jennifer Hedger at SportsCenter.